Yo. Welcome in, man. It's another edition of the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. Today is January the 26th, 2023. Let's see if we can find some cash, man. Shout out to my guys. I see them in the chat. Munov, what's going on? Courtney from the Ville. Lando, what's up, man? I see there's a lot of people already in the chat. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. YBB, I see is in here as well. So it's a lot of sharp minds in here, man. Let's go through the slate real quick and see if we can find some cash. As always, hit the like button for me if you guys can. Real quick recap, as always, that I do like recapping my plays yesterday. Started off really good. Wendell Carter Jr., pretty much everything cash last night. Magic team total. Only thing I regret is not playing the first quarter, first half because they jumped out on the Pacers like I figured that they would, but I only played the team total over for the full game. That was a cash. So 3 cashes in that game. And then the late game started and everything went to hell. Sabonis started off rebounding the ball well. I think he only finished with 8 rebounds, took him at 13.5. Loved the spot against Toronto. They lost that game. I was also on Toronto team total over. So overall, still, productive night overall, profitable night overall, but it could have been a lot better. Also talked about Ben Simmons going under his points, rebounds, and assists. He barely got there, but he did go under. And also talked about the Rockets team total going under. A couple people DM me and cashed on those plays as well. So sometimes the leans hit too, man, even if I don't play them officially. But let's get into the slate for today. We got let me get my iPad up real quick so I can make sure I got the latest odds up. I also just finished the workout. Typically, I don't finish workouts right before I start the show. So I say that to say that I'm not 100% sure if I've missed any injury news. Typically, I'm on top of those things as the day goes on. I know that there were a few injury things to be taken into consideration. So I just want to make sure I have all of this information before. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this. Okay, so Kevin Love didn't go through shoot around is the latest thing listed as questionable, and a couple of the guys out for the Rockets tonight. I think that total has shot up just a tad bit. That spread has shot up just a tad bit, but let's get into it. See if we can find some cash, man. If you're new, hit the like button for me. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, you can come over to YouTube. It's the link is in the tweet, and let's get into it. Let's go through the slate. So first game up, we got the Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. Line in this one is moving in favor of Chicago. It's the only way I would be able to look in this game as well. Chicago coming off, a loss to the Indiana Pacers a couple nights ago. I think that they should bounce back in the spot. Charlotte is, not playing well in their best form currently. Let me tell you guys what I have as far as notes on this game. Not a lot. So I got, I got to look towards Vucevic. His points, his rebounds plus assists. Couldn't talk anybody off the whole PRA over as well. But his rebounds plus assists, just because Charlotte is one of the most ineffective offenses in the league, which typically leads to a few more rebound chances. Vucevic has been dominating on the boards recently. So I couldn't talk anybody off his points plus rebounds, his rebounds plus assists, or his whole PRA over. I think I like the rebounds plus assists the most. You look at Charlotte. Recent defenses that they've been playing against just in their last 10 games. Sengun had 18 rebounds plus assists in his last game. He had 12 rebounds and 6 assists. Lauri Markkanen just had 12 rebounds. Robert Williams, they played twice recently in the last 2 weeks, had 9 rebounds and 12. Bismack Biyombo, Clint Capella, and Miles Turner also all had 9 rebounds. And Vucevic is averaging more rebounds than all of those guys. And what I just gave you guys was the last 10 games. You look at last 5 games for Vucevic specifically, he's averaging 12.8 rebounds and 5.2 assists. Good for 18 rebounds plus assists. So I like his rebound plus assist line. I think it was 16 and a half. Earlier this morning, it was like minus 110, I think. I think it's a little juice now, like minus 120, minus 125. But I think that's a pretty good play. Coach Billy Donovan for the Chicago Bulls did say he wanted to run the offense through them. Chicago has also been performing really well early in games. I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to it, but because they kind of fly underneath the radar. But the people who are capping the games every single day know the Chicago Bulls are playing a lot. They've been playing a lot better basketball recently. And typically they start early. You look at Chicago, this team 6-4 in their last 10 games, 7-3 against the spread. They've been covering spreads, jumped out on the Indiana Pacers the other day. And also, beat Atlanta in that game. Same thing with Detroit and Paris. Got Golden State when they were at home on that. I think it was on a Saturday. No, it was on a Sunday, and then Golden State won the next day against the Wizards. So this team has been playing well, in their recent games. So coming off a loss, I think that they should be motivated in this spot. These two teams did play earlier in November. Chicago won that game 106 to 88. They covered the 6.5 point spread in that one, and I think they could cover this one as well. The problem for me with laying points with Chicago is that they typically do not do well on the road as a favorite. I think there's something like 1-5 straight up and against the spread. But Charlotte first game back home, in a pretty bad spot. They had 4 straight road games. LaMelo, I think, is still listed as questionable for this one. They failed to cover their team total in the last 2 games since going to Atlanta. Before traveling cross country to Utah and Phoenix, they struggled in both of those games, lost both of them, didn't cover either one, and lost both of them by margin as well. Didn't cover by margin, 9.5. In one of those games they didn't cover, in 23.5 in that most recent game to Phoenix. If Chicago takes this one serious, I think that they can cover this. I think they can cover this point spread. I don't think it should be a 1-possession game, but like I said, I think I'm more so looking towards props in this one, and I would look at Vucevic. DeRozan and Levine props look like they're pretty appropriate. We know on the opposite side, though, I will say this: Chicago does not do a great job of defending the 3-point line. We talked about it the other day. We talked about taking Buddy Hield threes. He cashed them. He played against Orlando last night, cashed them again. So if you want to take something against Chicago, you do want to look at some of these 3-point shooters for the Indiana Pace. You want to take something looking at 3-point shooters for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm not sure who that is, but in the last game they gave up 10 3-pointers, which actually not that many. But Buddy Hield did shoot 4 for 11 from 3. Miles Turner hit 1 for 2, hit 2 for 7 as well. And Ben Mathurin didn't have the greatest game, but typically you want to attack Chicago with either a big man, which they don't really have one. I don't count Plumlee as being, a big man that's going to be effective with the ball. But you can do it from the 3-point line. So those are my notes for you guys on that game. Hopefully that helps somebody. But Vucevic, rebounds plus assists will be my top look in that game. Moving along to the Knicks and the Celtics game. Really like this game a lot. Total still continuing to dwindle down. Opened at 227. It's all the way down to 221.5, which means that I think the team total for the Boston Celtics should be a bit lower now. I think when I looked at it earlier, it was 116.5. Then it dropped to 115. Then it went from 115, and it should be. Let's see if it's 114 now. Still 115.5. And I like it, man. I like the team total for the Boston Celtics a lot in this spot. I think you want to fade the Knicks off of a home win in the next game being on the road. This team has they've been up and down. We know the Knicks they can be extremely efficient at times. They can also be extremely inefficient at times. And that could be, throughout the week. Like they could start Monday and Tuesday really well, and then by the end of the week they suck. Or it could be, start the first half very well, and then they suck at the end of the game. So really difficult game to cap. I was on the Cleveland Cavaliers team total over in that last game after the Knicks had kind of laid an egg defensively in Toronto and in Atlanta. They gave up a bunch of points in that spot. So I like Boston to bounce back. Boston on the opposite side, this team is 8-2 in their last 10, but the problem is they have lost 2 in a row, failed to cover their last 4, just 4-6 against the spread in their last 10. You look at Boston. This team has been playing a lot of games recently. They beat Golden State in overtime but didn't cover that spread. Only won by 3. After that, they go to Toronto. They were shorthanded in that game without Tatum. He sit out with a wrist injury. They won the game but didn't cover the spread. Then they go to Orlando a day later, 2 days later, and this was the game that a couple players sit. So Jaylen Brown wasn't available for this game. No, Jaylen Brown did play in this game. They just lost this game without a couple of their main guys. I know Brogdon was out for this game. Orlando plays this team very well. But then on the second night of a back-to-back, Jaylen Brown did sit in this game against the Miami Heat, and they lost that game and didn't cover as well. Brogdon was out. Marcus Smart continues to be out as well. They lost that game by 3. So 4 straight non-covers. I think coming back home and getting some of their guys back is going to be helpful for this team. One of the things that I looked at was how do the Celtics respond after a home loss? So I'm sorry, a road loss, but then their next game is at home and they're favored in that game, which is typically every single time because not too many times you'll see them as a dog at home. So what I got was Celtics 3-0 to the over, coming off a previous away loss when their next game is at home. They scored 123 points against the Cavs in this spot, 123 against the Bulls, and 125 against the Mavs, clearing the team total in all three of those games by 8 points, 10 points, and 11.5 points. Celtics are also 5-0 straight up, 4-1 to the over on their team total specifically when they're playing their fourth game in 6 nights, right? We typically don't like the I typically don't like the back teams when they're, in a back-to-back situation, a third game in 4 nights or fourth game in 6 nights. But they've covered their team total on the fourth game in 6 nights every single time. Not every single time, but 3 times in a row, and four times out of 5. So I like their team total to go over tonight. You look at the Knicks defense on the opposite side of that. I think it's a good face spot for them. Recent performance, 2 road games. I mentioned them already. Versus conference opponents since Mitchell Robinson went down. This team is 0-2 straight up and against the spread. Allowed Atlanta to score 139 points and allowed the Raptors to score 125. So 2 teams, in my estimation, that don't have nearly as much offense as the Boston Celtics do, especially with them having everybody minus Marcus Smart today. So I like the Celtics team total to go over. I think the full game could go over as well, but I do think the Celtics score 116 points in this game. You look at the Knicks, they're 6-3 to the over as away dogs in conference games. Also 3-0 to the over coming off a previous home win where they're a dog on the road in the next game. The Bucks scored 119 in this spot against them, and the Bulls scored 120. So I like this Celtics team total to go over in this spot. Also, we know that the Knicks like to give up a bunch of 3-pointers. I see my man Stephen in the chat. I'm pretty sure he's going to talk about it here shortly. But I just don't know who's going to hit the threes for the Celtics. I think Jaylen Brown probably has the most value, being that he shoots the most. Has a lot of volume. Jason Tatum threes are at 3.5 already, which I think is a solid number for him. It is plus money. Can he hit 4 threes? Absolutely. But I'm not sure how that's going to play out. So I don't know. I think Jaylen Brown threes are a little bit too juiced. It could be a Brogdon game. He has been playing well. He'll get the increased minutes, of course, without Marcus Smart being there. It could be a Derek White game. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just going to stay off for the props in this game. Also couldn't talk anybody off Julius Randle rebounds. This dude's been an absolute rebound monster recently. This was before Mitchell Robinson went out, but ever since Mitchell Robinson did go out, he's just rebounding the ball even more. So I think 13 plus rebounds, like 5 of his last 6, or probably, I think it's maybe even more than that. I think his rebounds came down to 11.5. It was juiced, I think, like minus 136 when I looked earlier. So couldn't talk anybody off Julius Randle rebounds, as long as you think there's going to be those rebound opportunities. Not sure who he's going to guard. We do know that the Celtics like to spread the floor. Everybody's typically a 3-point shooter, minus Robert Williams, that touches the floor for the Celtics. So that could throw his rebounds off just a tad bit because he won't be in the paint. But those are my thoughts on his rebounds, because I know I just had some discussion about that earlier today. So that's what I got for you guys in that game. I'm doing all this. I don't even got the banners up. So Pistons versus the Nets is the next game that I wanted to touch on really quickly. And I want to make sure. So spreading this one, you guys see it on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, it says -9. Total is 233. This hasn't been updated since earlier. So total has actually gone up from 233, which is what it was this morning when I made the banner. It's up to 236.5. So the books are anticipating points in this one. I kind of like points too. Brooklyn is not a 9-point favorite anymore. They're down to 8.5. So some money has come in on Detroit in this spot. And I like the over, man. I think Detroit can go over their team total in this spot. They're getting a little bit healthier. I think the Brooklyn Nets, there's a reason, where there's a lot of logic behind the Brooklyn Nets first game back home off a 5-game road trip. I think it was 5 or 6-game road trip. Emotional loss last night against the Philadelphia 76ers. They had to exert a lot of energy in that second half to come back and even make that a game to cover that spread, even though they didn't win. And now they got a couple guys that's, on the injury report. Seth Curry played well last night, and we got to write that down. I got to make sure I write that down. Seth Curry, we always talk about Ben Simmons revenge games and James Harden revenge games. Seth Curry typically goes off when he plays against Philly. I keep missing that. So I'm gonna write that down. But anyway, back to this game today. The Detroit Pistons are the more rested team. I think it's 2 days to rest to 0. Brooklyn first game back home. Detroit's not a team you really want to trust defensively at all. I think Boston can get whatever it is that they want on the offensive end, but I think Detroit, is pretty scrappy in this game. These two teams did play earlier, I think, when everybody was pretty much at full strength, and Detroit took Boston down to the brink. Boston had to exert a lot of energy in that game to come back. I think KD had to go for like 15 20 points in the third and fourth in the second half of that game to win that game 124 to 121. So I would look for Detroit to kind of keep this one close as well. I think that they kind of keep it close, man. I'm not playing the spread though. That's not what I'm going to do because Detroit defense, they just gave up 150 against the Nets. I'm sorry, against the they gave up 150 against the Bucks, and I don't think that the Brooklyn offense is as good as the Bucks offense minus KD, but I think Brooklyn can score in this game. My initial look was the team total for Brooklyn. Just wanted to fade the Detroit defense. I think the Celtics should be, I don't think that they completely overlook Detroit, even though it is, one of the worst teams in the league, just because they are coming off a loss and they probably want to get that, that bad taste out their mouth. I see points in this game, man. I think I still like the Brooklyn Nets team total to go over in this game, but nothing that I played officially because the point spread is so high. It does indicate that it could be a blowout. If it's a blowout, then you may not see your player props hit. So I'm not on any player props. I know people have been playing Jalen Durham rebounds. Couldn't talk anybody off. I think it's 10.5 minus 130. It's a little juice, but he has cleared that line in 2 games since he's come back from injury. So couldn't talk anybody off that. But that's really, I didn't really look too much into that game. I don't really like the game as much because Brooklyn could potentially rush players in that spot. So moving along, though, this Cleveland Cavaliers and the Houston Rockets game is a game that I am pretty interested in. Spreading this one opened at 6.5. 7, and now it's all the way up to 9. Houston is going to be resting Jayshawn Tate today, and Eric Gordon are both going to be out. I think they absolutely get mollywopped in this game because of that. Total has come down from 223 down to 219, but the spread has gone up. So what that tells me is that the books are expecting Cleveland to score more points, but Houston to score less points. So Houston team total got lowered. Cleveland team total got raised. And I like Cleveland team total. It's 115.5 when I looked at it earlier. I know I just was on this spot the other day against the Knicks, and they let the whole world down in that spot. Cleveland is not a team that I don't feel. First of all, I'm not laying 9 points with them. I don't feel like I can trust them on the road. I don't care. I don't really care if they're playing against a G League team. Cleveland has to, prove it to me, especially without Donovan Mitchell being there. But it is Darius Garland's birthday today, for whatever that's worth. I don't play the birthday narratives, but I think the birthday narrative could be in play today because Houston struggles against guards and Darius Garland got the keys to the city today. So I like fading Houston on the second night of a back-to-back. Houston also doesn't want to win. I think, what they not only do they not want to win, I'm not sure how competitive they want to be. They're sitting guys, not really trying to win games. I don't know how competitive this game's going to be. I do like Cleveland from the standpoint of that they are coming off a loss. I think that that's something that's extremely interesting because typically you have a little more, motivation when you're coming off a loss, especially when you feel like it's a game that you should have won. So without Donovan Mitchell being there, typically it's a no play for me. But I do think Cleveland has enough offense to be able to cover their team total today. I like Cleveland team total. I think it was 115 when I looked at it earlier. Right now, it looks like it's still 114.5. I like that team total. Also, something interesting to note. The Houston Rockets, for people who have the ability to live bet, the Houston Rockets are the worst fourth quarter team. Anybody who was watching the game last night, watched them just stall out on offense. They were beating the Wizards, I think, by like 10 points going into the fourth quarter. So if you just live bet at the end of the third quarter, the opposing team to cover the spread, whatever it is, 4.5, 10.5. If the Houston Rockets are winning the game at the end of the third quarter, if you live bet the spread at the end of the third quarter, you're typically going to be extremely profitable. That's just something to jot down. Put it in your notes section on your phone. Write it on your hand. Whatever you need to do because Houston does not want to win games. So even if they do come out hot, I do expect them to kind of lay an egg in the second half and Cleveland to win this game by margin, but I don't know if it's going to be by 9.5. So Darius Garland points plus rebounds is at 33.5. He should have the keys to the car tonight, man. No Donovan Mitchell. I think he can have whatever it is that he wants. I think he could potentially go for 30 points in this game. The only thing that talks me off of laddering his points is that they are on the first leg of a back-to-back. They do play in OKC tomorrow. So don't really like that spot for them tonight because they could be trying to get this game out the way. Uninspiring opponent, even though they are coming off a loss. And Cleveland still got to show me. They got to show me a little bit, man. So I think what I had written in my notes was, let's see. Yeah, that is what I had written in my notes. So don't like Sengun props as much tonight with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley being down there. I also think that Evan Mobley could be a sneaky prop look as well. He's been playing better since they lost that game to the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Golden State Warriors last week when they were at home after that win. After that loss, he's been playing just a tad bit better since then. He had a good game against the Bucks, I think career high game, and he played pretty good against the Knicks as well. Jared Allen did as well. So maybe even one of those guys to go over their rebound prop tonight, but nothing that I was official on. Next game up, I want to touch on real quickly is let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 games down. 2 games left. So the Mavs and the Suns, this one is extremely simple and complex at the same time. So the only way I could look in the game is to take the Suns. This is like, one of those playoff revenge type series where the Suns did lose last year in the the conference finals against the Dallas Mavericks. And, there's always going to be some beef between these franchises in my estimation. Injury-wise, of course, Devin Booker is still out. I think Aiden got upgraded to probable. And the Phoenix Suns have, come home and kind of tried to, turn it around just a tad bit. They are 5-5 in their last 5 games, 6-4 against the spread. Dallas just continues to struggle. They're 3-7 against the spread, 3-7 straight up as well. Phoenix has won 4 games and covered 4 games in a row, all at home. So 5th game of a 5-game homestand, not a place you really want to fade a team, especially against another team that, has been struggling as well. This is Dallas' first game, in 5 games. They were at home against Atlanta, lost, didn't cover, beat Miami by 25, I'm sorry, in a game that I was on Miami in, and then haven't won a game since. So thanks, Dallas. Lost to double digits. Also lost to the Wizards, laying 7.5 points in that game. Lost that game by 1. So now they go on the road. First game, like I said, since they've started. First road game in 5 games. They got Utah coming up as well. Head-to-head wise, these two teams did play earlier this season. Phoenix won the first game at home, but Dallas covered the spread. Dallas smacked Phoenix up in the second game, 130-111 in Dallas, and covered that spread as well. So both teams have won on their respective course this season. Also, this is a TNT game as well. I think if you're looking at this game, for me, Chris Paul is the head of the snake on one side, and Luka is the head of the snake on the other side. Luka typically plays well in these national TV games, these TNT games. But at the same time, I think that there's value on Mr. Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie points, I think they're 18.5 still. He's 6 for 6 in the last 6 games, and a lot of that has to do with Christian Wood being there. He also has some comments in the media, post game talking about the Wizards players. And, Kyle Kuzma kind of responded. So maybe he uses that as motivation. I do think that when you step out, in front of the media like that and say something, you typically want to back it up with your words. So couldn't talk anybody else, Spencer Dinwiddie props. I just haven't locked him in yet. I think he's in a pretty good spot. I think Chris Paul, coming back, getting a few games under his belt, being at home, to me, is the advantage in this spot. The Dallas Mavericks, just looking at my notes, the Dallas Mavericks have been absolute trash on the road. But Dallas is one of those teams that kind of gets up when they need to, and they can play well and kind of scare you. So Mavs 3-7 against the spread as an away dog this season, 0-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 4 games, with losses to the Thunder, the Clippers, and back-to-back losses to the Blazers as well. The Suns are the first in defensive rating over the last 3 games. The Mavs just 15th in the last 5 games defensively. Mavs also 29th defensively last 15 road games. So their defense just really falls off a cliff. I don't think that it gets any better without having Christian Wood, because they need him to be able to, kind of have any kind of semblance of rim protection. So I think you fade the Mavs defense, man. Opposing teams are 8-2 to their team total over when the Mavs are away dogs this season, including 4 straight overs. You look deeper, even the Mavs, when they're coming off a home loss and they're away dog, they're 0-2 straight up and against the spread, allowing both teams to clear their team total by 11.5 points and 31.5 points. Suns, like I said, 4-0 straight up in against the spread their last 4 games without Devin Booker. And they've cleared the 111.5, which is their team total in each of those 4 games. So if I had to play in today's game, I would be looking towards the Suns team total to go over. That way, even if they lose the game because somehow Luka goes crazy or Dallas starts hitting a lot of 3-pointers, they can still cover and cover this, not even cover the spread, but still get to their point total. But like I said, the Suns have been playing pretty good defense. So free play in that game, give me the Suns team total over the 112.5. Last game on the board is the San Antonio Spurs. Back-to-back games for them against the Los Angeles Clippers. Line was at 12.5 when I looked at it earlier. I think it moved to, I want to say it moved to 13. Yes, it's up to 13 now. Total at 234. So total's gone up just a tad bit. It's also 235 as well. So this one is just super conflicting as well. On one side, you get the Spurs. This team is last in defensive rating over the last 3 games, second leg of a back-to-back, a road back-to-back at that, even though they didn't have to travel because they did lose to the Lakers last night. They're allowing 122 points per game in 4 of their last 6 games, have gone over the opposing team's team total, including 3 straight. The Lakers scored 123, the Magic scored 133, and the Thunder scored 130. The Spurs continue to play with pace as well. This team is 5th in pace, and I want to say they're 12th or 13th in offensive rating as well. So they can score the ball at times. It's not like they run into these lulls like the Houston Rockets do or the Detroit Pistons. The team can score the ball, which is why my lean in this game is towards the Clippers to go over their team total. Clippers, they are last in pace over the last 5 games, but first in offensive rating over the last 3 games, 136.2. They're also healthy because PG and Kawhi have been playing in the last few games. And you just look at, what they've been doing. They scored 131 against last week when these 2 teams played each other in San Antonio. They also scored 133 against the Lakers just 2 nights ago. So they're at home. They should be rested. They need to move up in the standings as well because they have been losing. And then another thing I looked at was this year, the Spurs coming off a previous loss, and then they're on the road, and their opponent is coming off a previous win. It shows that the opposing team, still continue to just dominate the Spurs team. Those teams in that situation, when the Spurs are coming off a loss and they're still on the road, and the opposing team won their last game, they're 7-2 to their team total going over in that spot. So I like the Clippers to go over. I know that the number is pretty high. It's like 122.5. I think there's some 123s out there as well. But that will be my look in this game, man. I also think you could look at the first quarter spread, the first quarter team total to go over for the Clippers. And I also think you could look at the first half team total if you want to kind of stay away from the full game. The problem with that is that the Clippers are the worst second quarter offense in the NBA. The same way we talk about the Rockets being a poor fourth quarter offense, the Clippers are the worst second quarter offense in the league. Now, of course, that's throughout the whole totality of the season. And, when you have PG and Kawhi in, I'm pretty sure if I factored that in, it wouldn't be the same. But the Clippers are, like I said, they're pretty healthy. I think everybody will be available for this game besides Marcus Morris. And I'm sorry, I think Marcus Morris is questionable. But Luke Kennard and John Wall still continue to remain out. But Norman Powell's been playing really, really well for them off the bench. So, I still think the Clippers can score points in this game. Maybe a first quarter, first half over versus the full game would be more in play. I just don't look for San Antonio to play as much defense as they did against the Lakers. If you took the Lakers team totals to go over yesterday, you failed because they did not cover first quarter, first half, or full game. But that was, acclamation of Rui Hachimura in his first game, Anthony Davis' first game back. And Patrick Beverley scored 18 points. So it was a lot of crazy stuff going on in that game last night. So I would look towards the Clippers, maybe, like I said, first quarter, first half team total to go over. Also, on the opposite side, Romeo Langford is out for the Spurs tonight. And not only is he out, but Jeremy Sochan is also out for the San Antonio Spurs. He is the best perimeter defender that they have. So, it's a couple different ways you can look at this one. The Lakers have been a much better defensive team than the Spurs, and they couldn't stop PG and Kawhi the other day. The Clippers, the Suns just had their chance to slow them down with Jeremy Sochan in the lineup and at home, and they couldn't do it. Or do the Clippers just, lay an egg and come out really flat and unmotivated? I think even if they do, they still score points in this game. I don't see the Spurs being able to stop them. If anything, I think the Clippers might let up. I think the Clippers might let up on defense, and the Spurs actually keep scoring in this game. So maybe a look at Trey Jones' assist. I think he did cash in the last game that we took him against the San Antonio Spurs, even though he didn't do it last night against the Lakers. So those are my thoughts on that game. Official plays for me, man. The only thing that I haven't played anything yet. But what I am going to play, and these are going to be smaller plays for me because I don't really like to slate too much today. I am going to play Boston Celtics team total over 115.5 for all the reasons that I gave you guys already. I'm also going to, and this is the recap, and I'm also going to play Darius Garland. I think Garland goes off tonight. Only thing I don't like about it, like I said, is that they are on the they are on the first leg of a back-to-back. But I like Garland to go off tonight, man. His rebounds, his points plus assists are 33.5. You can get a 32.5 on some books as well. Those are my two favorite plays. Also, Vucevic over his rebounds plus assists at 16.5. Those would be my top three plays at the slate. The fourth play would probably be the Suns team total to go over 111.5, just because the Mavs have been so bad on the defensive end. Also think that they can cover that small spread of 1.5 as well. Nets team total to go over, even though we don't have a official lineup and injury news for them. And that's the way I would look for today. But top play today would be Celtics team total to go over to 115.5. If I only could make one bet, that's what I will put my money on today. So 31 minutes in the books, man. Hit the like button for me if you guys joined late. Also, if you're new, you can come over to Twitter if you are on. Steph Curry just got ruled out. Appreciate you, Sam. Okay, Steph Curry being ruled out. I kind of figured that was going to happen. Okay, I appreciate y'all in the chat, man. Bulls first quarter is Swaggy D said he's on. If you guys got send me a request. I'm gonna go through some of these I see in the YouTube comment section, and then I'll get people up on Twitter so you guys can share your looks as well. Is the show going to be here too, or just Twitter Spaces? So it's always Ashes to Ashes. It's always both. So I always do Twitter, and I always do YouTube as well. In the morning, I do a show that's just recorded on YouTube and recorded on all podcast platforms. So check out the podcast as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Leave me a rating over there as well. Let's see. What else y'all on today? I see Bulls first quarter. Boston, better hope Orlando don't get the AC. Boston does struggle, man. 1-3 against the Orlando Magic. That's pretty crazy. Would you lean Bojan points, Chris? I would lean Bojan points. Markel. If anybody's gonna score, I don't think it's rocket science who scores for the Detroit Pistons, right? Let's not try to get too creative with it. I think it's Bojan. Let's just put it at that. I think it's Bojan. If the Brooklyn Nets gonna feel some fatigue, it's probably gonna be on the defensive end, and it's probably gonna be they probably won't be as sound and crisp and as disciplined on the defensive end. And Bojan needs this much space to let his shot go. So we know he's an elite shooter. Hopefully he ends up on the team with the purple and gold in their jersey. So what else we got? Tim Hardaway threes. Sean said he sprinkled on. CP3 is about to be sent into retirement. Oh, Lord. Tim Hardaway Jr. threes, 3.5 plus 180. Okay. The line didn't move, still 8.5. That don't really surprise me too much, Sam. I didn't think Seth would move the line too many points, but now does he have a big impact on the game? Absolutely, right? But they still got other guys that can, not necessarily with his skill set specifically, but other guys that can score. Sumner probably get a few more minutes tonight. What up, Freeminds? Brian said can't stand how Luka complains to the refs after every possession. I think Luka complains to the ref every possession because he don't want to get back on defense. But that's just me. I think Luka don't have. He's in good basketball shape, but if we running half marathon, I don't think Luka keeping up with nobody. He in good basketball shape though. I think him and Bede. I think they complaining to the ref. James Harden, so they don't necessarily have to get back on defense for that possession. So, Ozzy said Derek White over half a block. Dude's been on a block streak. I think he's got a block, like some kind of streak going for the Celtics. It's a pretty long streak, getting at least one block. His steals plus blocks as well. And Luka is absolutely a liability on the defensive end, Markel. Yeah. That doesn't need to be explained at all. Yeah. I don't have any comments on that. So yeah, hit the like button for me. I'm gonna start getting people up. seeing what people are on, letting other people share their looks for the day, and then we're gonna get up out of here, man. I think it's a much better slate tomorrow. Not too many games. I think it's like 6-7 games tomorrow, so we can we can kind of dive into it tomorrow as well. And one thing that I did, I'd be totally remiss for not saying something I absolutely forgot to even tweet about today, man. R.I.P. to Kobe, man. R.I.P. to Kobe. My favorite Laker of all time. One of the reasons why I became a Laker fan when I was such a young kid. My guy, my absolute guy. Kobe is definitely my GOAT. I know Jordan, a lot of people GOAT, but Kobe's my GOAT, man. I love Kobe to death. Wanted to make sure I mentioned that. So let me get to the people, man, and get some of these requests, see what other people are on. Maybe I missed some things today. Maybe somebody could talk me into something. I'm down to listen. Let me grab a piece of paper and jot down some notes. Who we got up first? YBB, you here? Sounds like a no. Cam, you here?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Cam, what's going on, my guy? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. We're having a good week.
I hear that. Let's keep it going. What we doing? What we doing today, Cam? It sounds like you inside today, Cam. Yesterday it sounded like you was in something from a day after tomorrow, but you sound like you inside today.
Bro, I was walking the dog yesterday. We got hit with a crazy storm, and I was on the call. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. The wind just started hitting. I'm like, let me just get these plays out quick time and get off this.
Hey, that's dedication, Cam. I like it, man. I like it a lot, man. Appreciate your contributions, my guy.
But yeah, let's keep it going. I'm kind of keep it small the same way Bookie always says. When you're on a roll, you want to be careful. So Jalen Duren, double plus 125. I missed the plus 130 when it opened. So this one's more. So again, I always say when I'm making plays based on what I'm seeing versus just all the statistics. Obviously, Jalen Duren's putting up the rebounds and he's getting the points. But this is more about what I saw yesterday from Claxton. He gets pinned down? Like, I think Jalen Duren's going to hit the rebounds. That's for sure. That's why I'm going with the double just to make it clear. The points part is where some people might be like, well, is he going to get the points? Claxton gets pinned down fairly easy. He's a great shot blocker. He's playing good defense, but what happens if he gets in foul trouble is he's just letting dudes score just to keep on the floor. So he kind of let a couple layups happen real easy yesterday. So I'm looking at that as if Claxton does get in any sort of trouble, Jalen Duren, in my mind, I think gets this double quite easy. So at plus 125, I really like those odds. And he's doing it kind of on a pretty regular basis when he's in there. My next one is Kyrie Irving over 3.5 threes. Kyrie's a very erratic three-point shooter, oddly enough. But yesterday he was forced off the line quite a bit. He only took 5, but if you look at his previous couple games, he's letting them fly. So 7, 15, he went 5 for 7, 8 for 15, 2 for 8, 1 for 7, 3 for 11, 6 for 15. I don't really look at the percentages as much with a player like Kyrie because once he's hot as long as he's taking them. I think Detroit will let him take them. I think he'll take better shots against Detroit. Some of the ones he took yesterday were forced. So I just like him to get to those 4 threes today. There's kind of a blowout opportunity there, but I do think even with a blowout opportunity, Kyrie getting 8 shots up and hitting 4 threes is very viable. I'm not really worried about any of the defenders on him in Detroit. They don't really play great defense out on the perimeter. Although they don't allow a lot of threes, they still don't play great defense if you actually watch them play. And then this one you might be interested in because you're on Garland. So I was just playing around trying to figure out, because I kind of like Kyrie to just hit his averages today, not to hit what his lines are set at. And I really like Garland to hit his averages. So you could go one of 2 ways with this one. And this is more of a lean. But what I did was I took Garland's. So Garland's averaging over the last week, he's averaging 24 and 8. Kyrie's averaging 36 and 8. Garland's point line, I took it, so it's at 24, and then I played down his assist to 8. Sorry, this is a bit complicated, but. And then, so that's the same game parlay. And then I took another same game parlay on top of that, which is Kyrie at over 6.5 assists and 25 points. Separately, they're plus 164 and plus 118, but together it's plus 476. So basically, it's a bet of you just betting them being within their average over the last week. That's how I look at it. You're just betting them to hit their averages. So I'm sprinkling on that, just a plus 476 But if you're liking Garland today, if you put his points, which is just over 24.5, instead of laddering it, and then put his assist down to 8, you can get that at plus 164. So all in all, real good odds. If you're liking Garland and if you're liking Kyrie, you can play either of those separately or play them together. I felt like getting a little bit of the big plus odds on a smaller play today.
I like it. I didn't think about that. Okay. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. No, I could not talk you off of that. Can I go? So during double, Kyrie 3.5 assists, and then the little 2-leg parlays that you talked about, and combining the 2-leg parlays as well.
Exactly. So it's combining those two, or you can play it separately. They're all plus odds. I'm just combining them. I'm probably honestly, I'm not going to give it out. I'm personally probably going to play the Garland one too. But I'm just plus 476. I really like just taking two guys who are high usage to get their averages. That's how I look at it. It's for me. It's don't put a full unit on it, but it's kind of a fun play that you can make some money off of. And the numbers support it. It's not like you're just throwing, some people are like, oh, I'll take triple double tonight. The numbers actually support them hitting this quite frequently. Like if you bet this all week, they've hit it 3 times, right? So that's how I got there.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, Ken. Okay. Best of luck, Ken. I hope you catch those, bro. I like them. I could see him. I could definitely see him. I like the Kyrie one too. I think that game's gonna be a lot closer than people think too. So Seth not being there equals more threes as well. So I could see it. I could definitely see it. Let me kick it to Stephen. Stephen, what's going on, man? I know you got some Knicks stuff for me, man. What's up?
Hey, chillin'. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Before we look ahead, can we just look back at the disgrace known as the Cavs, who had like 20 points in the first 6 minutes of the first half, then went ice cold and couldn't make open threes?
Dude, oh man, I don't want to talk about it, bro. I don't want to talk about it, Stephen. It was bad, man.
Yeah, it was awful, bro. It was awful. I was on the Garland 3 ladder. He missed like 6 wide open threes. I couldn't believe he couldn't get to 3 and 4. But for tonight, it's going to be a lot of the same tones. I really like Al Horford in this spot. I just think this is a spot where the Celtics get right. 2 bad losses, and reading on some clippings on how they melted down against the Heat at the end there. And there was a lot of late game stuff. So I think execution is going to be a big thing. Mazzulla was talking about it. Tatum was talking about it. And the guy I'm really looking at, I think the vet is Al Horford. I think he's got 2 days rest. If you look at his logs with 2 days rest, his rebounding spike up specifically. He's 4 for his last 4 at home, over the 5.5. And overall in general, he's 8 for the last 9, all for the rebounds. So the Knicks, obviously, with their massive issues at center, love the rebounding. And also, I discovered this on StatMuse. You can actually look at players' shot chart log, like their hot spots on the floor. And Horford is really like in that spot, like that corner, that elbow spot with bigs. Bingo, I said it again, I apologize. So he's over 1.5 threes in 9 of his last 10. So I took his 1.5 threes. I think that's just too obvious for me with his rebounds, with his threes. Just the Knicks aren't going to guard him tonight. Another play I'm on for tonight. Love Malcolm Brogdon for his points plus rebounds. I just think he's going to come into the game and work with, I guess, that Knicks second unit, which is terrible with Hartenstein at defending the paint. Rebounds to guards. The Knicks have been up a ton of rebounds to guards. I wouldn't say like Gary Trent had like 5. If you go game by game, shooting guards are getting 4 or 5 rebounds. Brogdon rebounds the ball well. I think he had some time off. He'll be back. He's actually been like kind of clearing this number kind of comfortably. He's cleared it in 8 of his last 10, including his last 6 games. So I also think he's just going to get a bunch of threes and a bunch of rebounds. So I love the 18.5 Brogdon. And the final play I really like tonight, it's ugly and I can't fully explain it, is I like RJ Barrett a lot tonight on that 20.5. I just think it's a touch too low. He has this weird thing because him and Tatum both went to Duke where when they face off against each other, he tries to go extra hard. And for some reason, he doesn't like Jaylen Brown. Like, I can't explain it. No one's ever done an article over it. It's just Brown's going to guard RJ Barrett, and he's going to go at him over and over and over again. And I expect that Julius Randle coming off a game where he did his Steph Curry thing, I just think the Celtics are just going to double him and force it to go to RJ Barrett. I just think 20.5 is a touch too low. Before the last game against Okoro in the Cavs, he covered that, I want to say, 5 of the previous 6. So I like for him to get into rhythm. And for anyone who has prize picks, you got to keep hitting that Julius Randle over 2.5 turnovers. It's free money. He's hitting it at a 90% clip. He's just, whenever they give him the ball and action to take over, Nate Robinson out there and they're in a faster pace, he just keeps hitting that 2.5. Find something to pair it with. If you're in a state on DraftKings, they let you take it. You got to take that straight. So those are looks I'm on for tonight's game.
Okay, so Seven, tell me one more time. So you got Julius Randle over 2.5 turnovers. Which shout out to my guy Mitch. I don't think he in here right now, but yeah, no, he is in here. He talked me on to that one earlier and told me that was something to look at. And I did the research. I think it's something like 14 for his last 15 games. If you got turnovers on your books, Julius Randle has gone over these 2.5 turnovers. So could not talk anybody off of that if they're just interested in a look that's cashing at a very, very above 90% rate. So you're on that, Stephen. You're also on RJ Barrett over his 18.5 points. 20.5. My fault. My 20.5. Okay.
Yeah, I grabbed Horford's rebounds at 5.5 and his 1.5 threes, which he's smoking at home. I love Brogdon's 18.5 points plus rebounds. Now I have too many plays. I want to ask you a question first.
Yeah.
Do you give any credence to the thought that this is 3 years since Kobe's passing, RIP, the legend, and this is the first time Tatum's ever played on this day?
I don't know. I feel like players not going to admit to stuff like that, so that way it's kind of like not like the expectations are going to be higher. You know what I mean? Like if it happened afterwards, like you remember when Nip passed and Westbrook did the whole 20-20-20 thing for the 60. Like I just like stuff like that. I think is like in the back of their mind at all times. And it really wouldn't surprise me if, he went out there and tried to go nuclear tonight. They don't have a game tomorrow. So yeah. But in my estimation, I just feel like, watching Tatum play, he's extremely professional. I think he done played at every game so far except like 2. He wants to be all NBA, all first team all NBA. He want to be an MVP. So I think Tatum always trying to kill. You know what I mean? Like I think he always going for 60. In his mind, like if all his shots going, he gonna have 60 every night. So you know what I mean. I think Knicks got pretty good defenders, but when you're a player like Tatum and you have the the capabilities that he has, one of those nights it could always be the same way we seen Darius Garland. Like Darius Garland could have been, not Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell could have been a lot of players this year when he went for 70. Not taking anything away from him, but I think a lot of players have that potential to try to go get 60. I don't think that they go out there with that being their mindset, but when you lock in, you know what I mean? Like if he come out and he get 15 in the first quarter, I would probably live bet his points to, no matter whatever it is at the moment, because he might be trying to go for something like that on a day like today. So yeah, I don't think I would take it pregame, but I couldn't talk anybody off, playing them joints live if he started to go crazy and we notice it at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, for real. And this has to be pointed out. Granted, Quentin Grimes in there, but the last time these teams played earlier this season, the Celtics set a 3-point record for their franchise. So I took Browns 4 and 5 also. And listen, this might all fail. It's the Knicks. I've seen this story too many times. The Celtics are pissed off. I just laddered it up with Tatum 3, Tatum and Brown 3s, 3 apiece, 4 apiece, 5 apiece. It sounds crazy until you watch these bozos play and they don't guard the wing like at all. Like it's just wild. I have too many plays and like obviously stay off the parlays. You want to go broke chasing parlays. But as a long shot, I did Tatum for 5, Brown for 4, Brogdon for 3, Horford for 2. Because like it's the Knicks. It's just it happens every game. We're gonna give up 3s to the opposing team every single game. So that's what I'm on for tonight.
Yeah, man. Nah, I always appreciate the insight. Always appreciate the insights. I think a lot of people do, not just myself, man. But the way you cover the Knicks is it's pretty cool, bro. I like it. I like it a lot. You always got a lot of unbiased information too. A lot of people don't want to get on here and talk bad about their teams, but we trying to cash tickets,
Yeah,
and right, exactly. Same way I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna fade the Lakers. I know you're gonna fade your Knicks when you got to, and you're gonna back them when you feel like it's some money to be made too. So I appreciate your input as always, bro, for sure. Absolutely. Let me kick it to DJ real quick, and then Frag, I'm coming to you. What up, DJ?
What's happening, brother? Hope all is good. Man.
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Pretty good. I got 2 books right here. 2 unders actually. So it might be ugly to some people, but this first one right here, Jalen Brunson under 3.5 rebounds, is at -136 on the books. So originally I was just looking since Mitchell Robinson been out the last 3 or 4 games. I've just been seeing like who's been doing the work over there, Randall and all. He's been killing and whatnot. But I was just trying to look at it at a different angle and just seeing Jalen Brunson's potential assists and actual assists over the last 4 games with Mitchell Robinson out, it just doesn't make any more sense. Doesn't make any sense, but because with Robinson, there were 8 games before Robinson went out. He averaged 11.3 potential with 5.8 actual rebounds. That was third on the team, just for Jalen Brunson. But ever since these last 4 games that Mitchell Robinson's been out, he's had 5.3 potential rebounds and only averaging 1.5. So it's like only about 2 rebounds a game just in these 4 games. So I'm just taking all that information and saying that's just a huge shift in the potential and the actual. I would say the potential, that's a huge shift. So that's why I'm leaning, or it's a heavy play. I got to parlay with this other one I'm going to talk about. But Jalen Brunson under 3.5 rebounds, just that potential assist shift is huge. Even with Mitchell Robinson out, it just doesn't make any sense. So I believe he's still going to stay under that. And I parlayed that with Dorian Finney-Smith under 4.5 rebounds. And so this one, simply, I was looking at, what was I looking at? Oh, yeah, I saw him and Tim Hardaway. They have the same line. It wasn't priced the same. It was Dorian Finney-Smith's line was priced at 150 or 130, and Hardaway's was around 150. So I was just looking at it, just trying to distinguish which one had more value in it. And then looking at their potential and actual as well, it's actually about the same. Dorian Finney-Smith is just averaging 0.7 rebounds less. So Hardaway is averaging 4.7 actual rebounds, and Finney-Smith is averaging 3.3 actual rebounds, and they both have 8.7 potential rebounds. So I parlayed those two together. Dorian Finney-Smith under 4.5 rebounds, and Jalen Brunson under 3.5 rebounds. Came out to plus 130. Or my bad. Hold on. Wrong ticket. Yeah, I got a few parlays in today, so my bad. Hold on. Dorian Finney-Smith. Where was the Brunson one? Oh yeah, it came out to 206 this morning, but it's at 211 right now. Putting it back together. So and I actually thought about if you could even bound them up a point. So you could take Dorian Finney-Smith only if you're on FanDuel. You could alternate them up to 5.5. It's at minus 250, and then Jalen Brunson up to 4.5 is minus 250. They both come together as minus 110 as well. These are actually my favorite 2 looks tonight. That's why I didn't do that alternate parlay, but I actually love that to where it might be like my biggest play of the night. And so those are 2 spots just that I love tonight that I believe are cashed in. And I'm actually one more, bro. I'm gonna stay in this Knicks game. Bro was actually talking about it. I do love RJ Barrett tonight. So just for the simple fact, he's been taking the most field goal attempts per game over the last 3 games. He's been back from his little injury, or I think it was 4 games or so. I know this might be a little jumbled because he went over him for the last 5, but I simply like RJ Barrett just with the factor that him and Jason Tatum both went to Duke, and I always like whenever Duke players are matched up to brotherhood, I always like taking them going against each other. They didn't go there at the same time at all, like they were years apart, but just the fact that they went to just that program. So and he's getting the field goal attempts. He's taking the most field goal attempts he's taken a game in this month in January, and he's scoring the most points a game this month in January, and he's had his 3rd highest scoring game of the season against Boston when they played him back in November. So I just believe RJ Barrett is going to be putting up those shots today, and as long as he has the opportunity and the motivation, I believe both of those are there for him to cash his over 20.5 points as well. So
okay,
those three looks I got for tonight, baby.
Okay, hey, best of luck, DJ. You know I hope you cashing, bro.
Yes, sir.
Hope
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. So real quick, I want to address this in the comment section. Brian said Ben Simmons PRA under again, like how guys said. I'm not on Ben Simmons under his PRA today, just so you guys know. I've been playing it at 23.5, and I didn't even go official with it yesterday, but I played it and it cashed, and it barely cashed. So I know that there were more reports that came out today from Coach Jock Vaughn saying that, you know, when Ben Simmons is in the game, they need him to be aggressive. And for me, if it goes up to 24.5, even though he hasn't been cashing it, to me that indicates that he probably gonna get there today. They're playing against the worst defensive team in the league. You know, they're gonna be down a score. Detroit plays at the fastest pace over the last 5 games as well. So that could be even more opportunities for Brooklyn. I'm not on Ben Simmons under today. Do I think it probably cashes? Yeah, but I'm not playing it. So I just wanted to make sure I addressed that. I'm not official on that today. Not against poor defensive teams. Let me kick it to Frag real quick. What up, Frag?
Yo, what's good, Chris? How you, bro?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Man, I can't call it, man. So a couple winners yesterday, a couple losers. Nurkic ended up flopping for me. Sixers too, couldn't cover the spread. But Draymond RA came through, and the Wendell, man, I had tailed the Wendell, but I also added the player performance double for double in the win. So those two came through for me.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm looking around and stuff, and then so I think I'm gonna rock with Jason Tatum. Here's why. So, they got the whole narrative and stuff, but I'm not really too worried about that. Like I said, I've been watching the Knicks lately. And, without Mitchell Robinson, it's turned into Swiss cheese defense. You can get anything at the rim. And, JT is a 3-level scorer. And then I'm looking on FanDuel, and then for some reason, they got a boost. But me personally, I don't bet boost. But the boost today is Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown to combine for 50 points. So I just thought that was very funny. So I'm going to go. I looked at Jalen Brunson's log against the Celtics, and he's had a couple 20-point games against the Celtics on the Mavs with lower usage because obviously he's with Luka. So his, the usage there was much lower. And he had a game. He's only played him once on the Knicks, and he's also had I think it was 23 or 22. So I'm thinking that I personally don't bet boost. I usually fade him. I try to find a way to bet against him. So I'm gonna rock with JT 30 and a win, plus 112. And I guess the narrative. It was obviously his favorite player, so I guess that can help for me. But honestly, I think just they don't really have an answer for him as far as defensively. And I've been watching them lately. Without Mitchell Robinson, they're bad. They're really bad defensively. They lost their anchor. It's just that simple. So I'm gonna rock with that. And then I got one more play.
That was 30 and a win, Fred?
Yeah, 30 and a win plus 112.
Okay.
You could also do 32 and a win plus 146. I think JT goes off, man. Especially how he kind of sold the bag against Miami late in that game, man. Multiple turnovers down in the crunch. I was watching the post game interview. He was just talking about being more assertive. He checked back in 6 minutes left in the fourth, and 3 straight possessions as they were up and not demanding the ball. And when you got a lineup of Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, and these miscellaneous players, they're good side pieces, but you get in the game, you need to demand the ball. You're Jason Tatum, so I think he's gonna come out. I could look for a big first quarter for him too. I think it could be like a 12-point first quarter. So, I think JT. I really like JT today.
Okay.
And then my second play is gonna be Clippers first half, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them as far as just getting the pieces together. Kawhi and PG are playing. You're not, no longer seeing them on the injury report. And they have Zubac also could score at will against the Spurs. I think he had 16 and 18 against them last time they played. So I think just Norman Powell off the bench is, the leading candidate for third man. It's not third man, sixth man. He's hitting a lot of threes, and just, the defense of the Clippers, I think is just going to be too much for the Spurs. Also on the back-to-back. So I think that one could get ugly. So I'm locking them first half for the Clippers.
Spread or team total?
No, spread.
What is it? 5.5, 6.5, something like that?
Nah, I got 6.5. Yeah, I got 6.5. It had moved though.
Okay. All right. So 6.
Yeah, I got that one in early.
You think it's over?
8.5 now.
It's 8.5 in the first half?
Yeah, it's
God damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, I've been up late, so I've just been getting these early lines and stuff. So yesterday I had jumped on Lakers late. I think it was -6. I forgot it. I had it in my bet slip, and I ended up cashing it for I think -8 at that tip off. So.
Got you. Yeah, when Braun got rolled in. Okay. Best of luck.
And then I'm gonna just add Phoenix money line, man. I think the way they're getting these wins in on the homestand, man, it's you got to get a couple wins in here, especially against a rival, I guess, and Devin Booker being out, I think these games matter at home especially. So I'm gonna lock in Phoenix money line as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I couldn't talk you off the money line, so you don't have to worry about the point, because that could be a one. I mean, it's predicted to be a one possession game, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bucket type game in that one. So okay, I like it might be a PPD day, man. I could see Tatum 30 in a win. I think.
Yeah, I was also seeing you had mentioned Garland. I mean, I think it was one plus 142. Garland in a win and Garland 25 in a win is plus 142. Put that one with Tatum, and I think that's a deadly duo right there with the birthday narrative. I mean, even without the narrative, it's the Rockets.
right. You don't even need the narrative, right? Like, I don't even play the narrative.
Garland get 25 in his sleep against these guys.
Right, especially with no Donovan Mitchell, right? Like, he's been picking up on the road a little bit. So yeah, it might be a PPD day, man. Maybe a couple of these PPDs. I like the Tatum 30, because I feel like when he need 32, he typically stop at 30, or he need 32, he stop at 31. So I like the 30 in a win. I definitely.
They're hanging the hook. They're hanging the hook on his points 30 and a half. So
yeah, the books.
If he gets 30, I think they win.
The books definitely know what they're doing there. So yeah, Tatum, Garland, Kyrie, I think also, man. I don't think that they lose that game. I think Kyrie has to step up and play big tonight. Detroit is one of the worst, I think the worst team in the league defending the point guard position as well. So figuring out how to play Kyrie, maybe it's his threes in a win, or you can make those PPDs yourself. You don't have to select the ones that the books give you. If you're playing, most of the books allow you to create same game parlays. You just take what you want for Kyrie, dumb his points down, his threes down, his assists, whatever, and then you add the win, the money line. So yeah, I put a star beside PPDs. Maybe I'll come up with something afterwards. But appreciate you, Frag. Hope you cash these, bro. Best of luck to you.
One more thing, my bad. It's not even a play or nothing. It's just shout out Stephen, man. He be giving out the New York Knicks just how to attack him and stuff. And I made a couple coins on just listening to him. So shout out him, man. He's a good dude.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Definitely appreciate that. Let me kick it to let's see, YBB. What's going on, man? And then Ben, I'm coming to you. What up, YBB?
Yo, what up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good, man. First off, I want to say appreciate you, man. You dropped the Golden State and Memphis under last night.
Bro, that was actually, it's funny. There was a 79-point third quarter, and it still went under the total.
Still went under, and that's all that matters. I said it was a sharp look, YBB.
God damn, that shit was scary though. But, yeah, man, I want to make it real clear that I do not have any bets today. I'm just gonna share some information. And if you're betting on the Dallas Mavericks, probably don't tune in to this, because I don't want to talk anybody off of a play that they like. But I do have a couple of angles that do support the Mavericks. And the reason why I don't bet it is because trends don't always mean picks for me.
That's a fact.
I get a trend, and, it has to correlate with a system and a projection. And in my opinion, I think that this number is appropriate. It's appropriate pricing. I think the whole slate is kind of appropriate, to be honest, except for maybe the Cavs, but I'm not in a rush to back the Rockets. Anyways, with all that being said, if you are backing the Suns, they're in a 32-1 spot, 32-1 straight up spot, and I pinned it on my profile, basically showing the SDQL. It is favorites that are coming off a game where they shot 48.5% and 50% from three, facing an opponent that is winning fewer than 55% of the games, that allowed 120, and they were the dog in that previous matchup. These teams are 32-1 straight up in database history, so this goes way back. And before the Magic lost it was actually 32-0, but Magic lost to the Lakers this year. They were favorites over LeBron. Don't know why. It is what it is. And there's a couple of other points that I want to get into as well. The Suns, this is a spot where they're in a revenge spot, first of all. And the Suns, when they fail to cover by at least 10 points against the spread, and their next opponent is a team that wins fewer than 50% of their games, the Phoenix Suns are actually 18-4 ATS. Now, if that next opponent is against a conference opponent that wins fewer than 50% of their games, they are 14-1 straight up, or 14-1 straight up, and 14-1 ATS. So you're giving me a number that is -1 I like the spot. Is Christian Wood officially ruled out? I believe
Yeah,
injured,
he's
right?
out. He's out, baby.
Yeah, so this is a spot where DeAndre Ayton should just feast. He's probable, so I don't know if he's actually in or not. I mean,
I think he's probable. I think he is going. I think he
report,
is going to play. Baby.
Man, I hope so. That injury report is just kind of it's not very trustworthy.
That's a fact.
But anyways, and then the last point. This is a Mavericks fade spot, and I like. It sucks because I really like the Mavericks. I like the team, but in my opinion, they're not playing with chemistry right now. It's a one-man show. It's Luka going off for 45 points and losing efforts. It just doesn't correspond, man. That's I don't know. I don't like it. But Mavericks facing an opponent that they went over the total with in a previous matchup. On the road, coming off a game as a favorite, they're 0-8 ATS. They've lost 6 of those games outright. That's just this season. So for all of those reasons, all the numbers, the stars align for Phoenix. The reason I'm not playing is because Phoenix is also one of those untrustworthy teams. But yeah, I just have a whole bunch of trigger points that favor Phoenix tonight. So we'll see how it goes. I just want to share the data. I think everything's appropriately priced tonight. But yeah, I'm not really rushing to the window to bet anything. I like one spot tomorrow that's 18-0, but we'll get there when tomorrow's show appears.
I like it. I appreciate you, man, just coming in and dropping the knowledge, even though you don't got no bets. YBB, these, allowing people to see. I put the SDQL trend up there too, so allowing people to be able to see it. I know Ronald breaks it down a lot on his show. I do it just a tad bit, here and there as well. So yeah, I appreciate everybody that continues to kind of teach me, because a lot of the stuff that you do, YBB, I don't even know how to do yet. So I'm still learning. We all still learning, So all trying to cash some tickets too. So I appreciate you sharing the knowledge as well. Let me kick it to Ben real quick, and then I'll get a couple more people up before we get up out of here. Recap my card for today as well. Some of the top looks that I'm looking at. What's up, Ben?
Hey man, how you doing? Good look on Wendell Carter last night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's get some more cash today, man. What we looking forward to today?
Well, we lost at day 5 of the 10 to 10K, so we're gonna start over today. I'll reiterate everything that Frag said. I agree with. I got a little bit different PPD for Tatum, but I mean, I couldn't talk you off that one either. I got Tatum 25, 4 assists in the win.
Okay.
He's got 25 points in 19 of 21 home games this year, and he's got 4 assists in 7 of 8 without Marcus Smart. And both all his points, rebounds, and assists are all up since Robert Williams has come back. I think that's just because Tatum hasn't had to give a shit about defense, knowing that he's got, Robert Will behind him. He's averaging like 35 and a half, 10 rebounds and 6 assists at home with Robert Williams. So I couldn't talk anybody off his PRA either. And then I sprinkled a little on the triple-double just because, we got a rivalry week, showcase type game. I imagine that the Knicks kind of bring it here. And when the Knicks bring it, like, motivation motivates Tatum. It's been pretty clear seeing him play at home like that. After that, I'm on Claxton, basically any way that you can play him. I really, really like him tonight. I got two blocks in a win, 3 blocks in the win, and 4 blocks in the win, so we'll stick with the PPDs. Claxton got 2 blocks in 10 straight games. He's got 3 blocks in 9 of his last 10, and the only one was last night because Joel takes a lot of jump shots and fadeaways, which is obviously a lot tougher to block. But, I mean, for people who watched that game last night, I mean, he still kind of had his way with Joel, especially early. He showcased SportsCenter type block on a dunk. So, I mean, I love Claxton, especially just this year in general, but especially tonight with Detroit allowing the 4th most blocks to centers last 30 games. And then I also like his double-double. Detroit's averaging, giving up 1.8 more points to centers over their average last 30 games and 1.5 more rebounds to centers over the last 30 games. And in general, they're giving up the 4th most rebounds to centers last 7 and last 15 games. So I like Claxton on the double-double, especially given that he's had 6 double-doubles in his last 8 games, and he's got a positive home road split. And then my last play is Vucevic double-double in the win at -115. Vuk had 9 straight double-doubles until he didn't have his double-double last game against Indiana. I know a lot of people were on his rebounds plus assists and stuff like that. I was on it too, which sucks. But I think we get back with Vuk on the rebounds tonight against Mason Plumlee. Obviously, Plumlee's a pretty interior only type center. So, him being in the interior often is probably going to keep Vuk around the basket, which is great for those rebound chances. So, I like Vuk double-double in the win there as well. So those are the kind of 3 ways, the 3 plays I'm on. I know it's more than 3 plays, but the 3 players who I'm on tonight is what I'll say.
Vooch double and a win. That's the one I think we hadn't heard that definitely can get added to the player performance double list. I already like this rebounds plus assists, but I do think, he probably scores 10 points as well. I mean, that should be, pretty easy for him tonight. So I like that.
For sure.
And
if you build the Tatum triple-double, you can get like 2,900 on FanDuel is what I got earlier. I think if you look at all the other books, it's like plus 2,000, plus 2,400. So if you build it, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a little slow for this one, but I hadn't really looked into Tatum assists. 5.5 right now, plus money, and he's had 7 in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the straight on Tatum tonight could be there.
I did play 2 on DraftKings earlier, 10 boards and 7 assists for him, based on exactly what you just said. And with him averaging 10 boards a game at home with Robert Williams, at plus 650 for 10 boards and 7 assists. So
yeah, I mean, he should have the ball in his hand a lot. I don't like that they get Brogdon back if I want to play his assist, but
sure.
But I mean, he's gonna be the primary. I'm pretty sure his usage rate has been up just in general.
Yeah, he only because I watch a lot of Celtics. I'm originally from Boston. He only defers to Marcus Smart when it comes to the play making abilities. When Smart's not in, he's averaging, even with Brogdon in a lot of these games, he's averaging, I think, just over 6 assists per game this year.
Okay. I like it, Ben. I might have to figure that one out. Bro. Appreciate you. Hope you cash them as always. Let me kick it to my guy, Vaughn. Absolutely. Let me kick it to my guy, Vaughn, real quick. What up, Vaughn?
I'm good, bro. What's good? You hear me good?
Yeah, you good? What's going on?
Hey, bro, I'm good, bro. So we 14-5 on the last 19 plays. Had a big night last night. I took Orlando first quarter spread. I took their total over and the Pacers total under. All 3 of those cash. Hit a couple ladders last night. So coming off a good night, looking to keep it going tonight. I don't have a lot of plays. My favorite play tonight is the Vucevic rebounds and assists. You already talked about a lot of that, so I don't want to regurgitate it. So that's my favorite player tonight. I played Jalen Doran 10 rebounds and Nick Claxton 10 rebounds, and that's plus 130. A lot of people have already talked about Nick Claxton tonight. A couple people talked about Doran. So just both of them to get 10 is plus 130. I think both of their line is at 10.5. So just kind of watered it down and still got plus odds. I love that play tonight. Another play I like as well is I played Garland 8 assists and Cleveland money line, and I got minus 115. I think that game does have some blowout potential as well, but Cleveland doesn't play well on the road, and like you said, this is the first night of a back-to-back, so I do see this game. Cleveland could easily be up 17 going into the fourth, and they not play no more. So I just took his assists at 8, Cleveland money line, and I got minus 115. I think if you parlay them now, it's like minus 120. So just a couple parlays. Let's see. And I also played Phoenix first quarter. If we look at Phoenix first quarter money line. So what we're doing with that is we have Phoenix last 4 games. Their first quarter margin has been 6-2, 14, and 21. Second in rebounding in the first quarter. Of course, they first in assists, number 1 defensive rating, number 1 in net rating. So like Phoenix in the first quarter tonight, motivational spot. I think Phoenix has this as a spot where they kind of looking to get going. I think you talked about it when you was going over the game, where they've been defending really well. Everything just has been going pretty well for Phoenix. The Mavs do have a few first quarter trends. I think they've won the first 2 first quarters this season versus Phoenix. However, I'm gonna just roll with Phoenix, just kind of staying hot in the first quarter like they have been over the last few games. Those are my officials, man. I got a lean towards Luka under PRA. It's hard to say that, but his line is 53 and a half. And if you look at that line versus Phoenix, he's only hit that line in 2 of 12 games. Again, but it's just hard to take a under on Luka with his usage being as high as it is. So I probably won't get there with that one, but just something I wanted to mention. Let's see. That's all we on, bro. I didn't have a lot of plays tonight. Those few, again, running through those again, that's Darius Garland, 8 assists in the win for Houston. Jalen Doran, 10 rebounds, and Nick Claxton 10 rebounds, plus 130. Phoenix first quarter. Vucevic rebounds and assists at 16 and a half. Those are my 4 officials. And I'm going to take a look at Mikal Bridges under on his rebounds with the philosophy that you talked about one time before, where the guy who defends Luka doesn't get a lot of rebound chances because he's always 35 feet away from the basket. But that's all I'm on for tonight, man. Looking to keep it rolling in the Discord, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Von. Got some looks, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck to you. Let me go to Bookie. What up, Bookie?
Yo, what up, Chris? I got only 2 plays tonight. I shit the bed last night. Yo, I was so mad about that Dylan Brooks play, though. Yo, he had 3 potential assists, had 3 assists. Like, think about that. That's
hey, Boogie, you just go back to that one in the next one, bro. You got to run that back.
For sure. You know it. But, so I don't want to talk anyone off their play, but I'm personally on RJ Barrett under 26.5 PR. I'm a big EV guy, and it just had great EV. It was minus 140 on DK and minus 137 on Caesar, and then dropped down to 25.5 on FanDuel and some other books. But I got it at minus 105 on MGM, so great EV. He's under in 10 of the last 15 and under in 13 of 20 without Mitch. Going back to last season, obviously without Brunson, so just a ton of shot volume, or extra shot volume he had last season. In that span, he was averaging just 19 points and 5.1 rebounds per game. I like the PR because he doesn't see much of an increase in rebounding without Mitch Robinson. You know, obviously Randall's still going insane. Hartenstein too, as well, as a great rebounder. And on the road, he's averaging 3.5 less points and 1.1 less rebound as well. I think Boston is just a team that they're really good at defending the 3-point line and really good in the paint. They're just a good defensive team. But one thing they are very vulnerable to, just because they're great defense on the perimeter and in the paint, they are top 5 in field goal attempts and field goal percentage in the mid-range. And when you look back at it, I had it up in front of me a little bit ago, but I just closed it. A lot of players who score in mid-range just go off against this team. DeMar DeRozan, KD, when KD was out, TJ Warren went off. Just a lot of guys who go off in the mid-range go off against this team. So Jalen Brunson, if you like the Knicks tonight, I feel like you got to look at Jalen Brunson. And then another play I got in the Charlotte game is Nikola Vucevic over 3.5 assists. Great EV on this as well. Minus 124 on FanDuel. It was up to minus 157 on Barstool Sugar House. In 4 games for Charlotte last 2 seasons, he had 5, 8, 3, and 3. So 2 misses on the hook. But one of those misses, he played 20 minutes, and the other came in the game. He had 9 potential assists. So Charlotte this season allows plus 0.82 assists to the average for centers. He's over in 8-11 versus January, averaging 4.6. He had a game where he had 10, 8, 7, and another game with 7. It's up to minus 140 on DK, minus 145 MGM, minus 157 Barstool, as I mentioned. But you can
Nah. Usually, I told you, man, I look at the narrative more than anything. However, one of my homeboys we talked earlier, he gave me interesting stat. Well, he said, hold on, let me pull it up. My note, I wrote it down. He told me, okay, here it is. We were talking earlier. When the Bulls are road favorites against the conference, and then this is just interesting because they lost to Indiana the other day, and when I faded them, the Bulls are not consistent. They're terrible in closing. I wish DeRozan would have. I'm sure he did. I wish he would have tore that locker room up when they lost to Indiana the other night. Like, ain't no reason, ain't no way. They was up 21, bro. Up 21, couldn't really close the deal, and they end up losing by 6. So it's just like they never could finish, bro. When they was up without DeRozan, not the last game, but there was a game against Philly without DeRozan. DeRozan might have played that game. I don't think he did. However, they was up. They let Philly come back. I mean, they're just not good in that fourth quarter, bro. I think it's gonna take Charlotte a while to get a rhythm. But I like them. I like their offense a little bit. I mean, they're not the best, but I guess I'm really just a LaMelo Ball fan. That boy can hoop. So that's really why I'm running with Charlotte with the +6. I don't trust the Bulls to finish or close. I mean, they'll probably win the game, but in terms of actually laying 6 points on the road, I'm not giving them that.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm running
with Charlotte plus the points.
Yeah, I'm running with Charlotte just because LaMelo was ruled in and Gordon was ruled in. If it was either or, if just one of them was ruled in, I'm still taking the plus the points. The Bulls will win the game though, but they're not gonna lay that 6 or 6.5, 7, whatever. They're not gonna lay that, but they'll win the game. That's what I'm running with. Levine over on his points. I got the Bulls to win, but Charlotte gonna cover.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, Radar. Hope you cash that. Hope you cash it, my guy. All right, bet. So now that we do got a few more updates as far as injury news. I didn't think Donovan Mitchell had a chance of playing today, but it looks like he's a true game time decision. LaMelo is in, as Rated R just said. Gordon Hayward is also in. Terry Rozier is also available to play. For people that was playing during rebounds or kind of on the fence about it, Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew, did just get ruled in as well. He's available to play with the ankle injury he was struggling through, and Isaiah Livers as well listed as available to play. Ankle injury for him as well, but looks like he's going to be in. And then, like I said, Donovan Mitchell looks like he's going to be a true game time decision. He's going to go through shoot around probably and get ruled out. So. I don't think that he plays in this game. I don't think that this is growings. Typically, you need some time to kind of let him heal. And why wouldn't you set this one out when you play against the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow, a much more competitive game tomorrow that you probably want to win? I don't see him playing in this game against the Houston Rockets. I think he could sit out and they will be fine in this game. So I think he'll go through shoot around and probably won't play. But it's the NBA, man. So place your bets at the last minute. If you trying to play the narrative though, based on what I just said, you probably want to jump on Garland now because numbers could go up. But if Donovan Mitchell gets ruled in, not gonna like Garland as much, of course, because Donovan Mitchell is gonna shoot the ball. So just kind of wanted to share those notes. Official play for me, like I said, only thing that I have locked in right now. I don't have anything locked in, but what I am going to play is the Boston Celtics team total to go over 115.5. And probably get there with Garland, but I'm gonna wait on the news. I like his points and assists at 33.5. Also, Vooch rebounds plus assists at 16.5. And PPD. If I see one that I like, I'll definitely tweet that out as well. Strong look towards the Suns to go over their team total of 111.5. And then I like the over for the Clippers tonight as well. I don't think the Spurs play any defense tonight. I think the Clippers can score whatever it is that they want tonight. So give me their team total to go over as well. Not official play that I locked in yet, but those will be my top looks for today. Tomorrow, like I said, we got it's a small slate tomorrow for Friday, but it's a bunch of interesting games. So I think we'll get back to, having a few more plays tomorrow. Wanting to fade the bad teams today. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll definitely see how it goes. So, that's what I got for you guys. That's what I'm on today. Best of luck to everybody, as always. And, bet with your head, not over it. I'm out. See you guys tomorrow, back in the morning for the Casted with Chris show at 7 a.m.